All right, so today we've got a really powerful story for you. It's all about how a bloody political revolution over in France somehow accidentally sparked a poetic revolution in England. And I mean, this is a story that's got everything: intense friendship, a careless word, and yeah, ultimately a really heartbreaking betrayal. And right at the heart of this whole poetic revolution is this one single idea from William Wordsworth. Now look, this isn't just some dusty old definition of poetry. No way. This is a mission statement. It's making this huge argument that our deepest emotions, well, they're not just valid, they are the source of truth and beauty. You got to keep this idea in your head because it is literally the engine that drives everything we're about to get into.
So the big question is, right, how on earth did a political uprising lead to a completely new kind of poetry? Well, to really get it, to understand that jump from, political action to really personal expression, we have to start with the two sides of the coin, the incredible hope and the absolute horror of the French Revolution. Okay, so picture this. It's 1789, and there's this incredible feeling of optimism in the air. I mean, artists, thinkers, people all across Europe are looking at the revolution and thinking, this is it. This is the dawn of a brand new age. But wow, that hope went south, and it went south fast. By 1793, that beautiful dream of liberty had twisted into the total nightmare we now call the Reign of Terror.
I mean, just look at the sheer contrast here. It's totally night and day. On one side, you have this beautiful, shining ideal of brotherhood and freedom for everybody, and on the other, the brutal, cold reality of the guillotine. We're talking thousands of people executed, a lot of them without any kind of real trial. That whiplash, that feeling of going from this incredible high to this terrifying low, that's the core conflict that a whole generation of artists had to figure out how to process.
And this right here is the crucial turning point. When that big political revolution completely failed them, poets like William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, they turned inward. They got so disillusioned with the whole idea of changing the world through politics and fighting, so they decided, okay, you know what? The real revolution has to happen inside, in the human heart and in the mind. And the way to do that? Through art.
Which, of course, brings us to the two poets right at the very center of our story. Our main characters, if you will. William Wordsworth and his closest friend, his collaborator, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And these two guys together, well, they were about to change the course of literature forever. And their creative chemistry was just electric, mostly because they were pretty much perfect opposites. You had Wordsworth, who was super direct. He was all about finding this deep, profound beauty in the everyday lives of regular people. Then you had Coleridge, who was way more indirect. He was off exploring the supernatural, the mysterious, the power of pure imagination. But when you put them together, wow, it was just a perfect fusion. So, in 1798, they do it. They published their joint collection, a book called Lyrical Ballads. Now, at the time, this was a total experiment, but it became an instant sensation. I mean, the book was so popular that the entire first printing sold out in just a few months. That's how you know people were absolutely hungry for this new, emotionally raw kind of poetry.
But this incredible, world-changing, creative partnership, this incredibly deep friendship, it was not destined to last. In fact, it was headed for a tragic and really abrupt end. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The same intensity that fueled their amazing art would be the very thing that tore them apart.
Get this. After the year 1810, these two friends, these weren't just colleagues, they were collaborators who had literally lived and worked together under the same roof. They would never see each other again. Ever. So what on earth happened?
Well, it all started from a place that wasn't malicious, but was actually concern. You see, Wordsworth was deeply, deeply worried about his friend Coleridge, had a growing addiction to opium, and his behavior was getting more and more erratic. So Wordsworth did what a lot of us might do. He confided his fears to a mutual friend, probably thinking it was a totally private conversation.
And in that moment, a moment full of frustration and worry, Wordsworth said something incredibly blunt and just so painful. He told their mutual friend, talking about Coleridge, that he is a drunkard. He never remains normal. Just imagine hearing that from your best friend. And then the acquaintance went and repeated Wordsworth's exact words right back to Coleridge. Now for Coleridge, a man who already felt abandoned by his own family and really saw Wordsworth as his anchor in life, this was just the ultimate betrayal. The trust between them wasn't just broken, it was shattered. Forever.
So this kind of intense personal pain, the betrayal, the heartbreak, when you mix that with the bigger political disillusionment of the time, it all feeds into this really strange but really powerful idea right at the core of Romanticism. Okay, so they had a word for it, pleasure. But, and this is a huge but, it has absolutely nothing to do with what we think of as simple happiness. Not even close. It's way deeper, way more complex. Romantic pleasure is this profound sense of calm that, and this is the paradox, you can only get to by first intentionally flooding your own mind with pain.
The best way to think about it is with this balloon analogy. Okay, so step one. I want you to imagine filling your mind with every painful, embarrassing, heartbreaking memory you have. Just pump them in there, like filling a balloon with air. Step two, you intentionally keep going. You push way past the point where you think you just can't take anymore. Then, step three, eventually your mind just bursts. All that pressure is released at once, and what's left in that moment right after? That's step four. It's this unique feeling of an empty, complete, total calm. That is romantic pleasure.
So, okay, you might be thinking, why does any of this matter? This was a literary movement from over 200 years ago. Well, it matters because the echoes of this emotional revolution are still all around us. They are actively shaping how you and I see ourselves and how we see the world, even today.
Think about it. The Romantics are the ones who really taught us to value our own individual emotional experience. They're the ones who championed nature, not just as pretty scenery, but as a source of peace and spiritual truth. They insisted again and again that there was profound beauty in the everyday lives of ordinary people. And they celebrated the imagination as this powerful, almost revolutionary force. I mean, in a lot of ways, they basically invented the modern idea of the artist as a kind of conscience for society.
So when you boil it all down, Romanticism was never just about love stories or pretty poems about daffodils. It was a radical, philosophical movement, and it made a really bold argument that our feelings are not irrational distractions we should ignore. No, they are a vital, essential form of knowledge.
And that really leaves us with a big question for our own time, doesn't it? In our world today, a world that's so often driven by algorithms and data and cold hard logic, is there still a place for this? I mean, is there still a need for what Wordsworth called the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings?